Okay, now that the soldering's done, I've slid this little blue thing back in there, and I'm just going to take a little strip of this electrical tape and basically just kind of seal around it. Okay, now as for this little part that comes with the TUSK kit that hooks on the middle here of the switch, I'm going to solder that to two ends, it doesn't matter which, of these heating pads. So as long as there's one coming from each pad, so here's a pad and here's a pad, as long as there's one coming from each pad, I'm going to solder them inside this little thing. And good luck with that for me because, oh crap, well, it's just going to be... Okay, so if you can see that, that's how I did it. I have the wires here, I put this tape on there, and then basically I got the solder and I rammed it down in there while I was melting it, and basically just dripped a whole bunch of solder in there, and it seems like it's going to hold pretty good. So for a first time soldering idiot and noob, looks like I got it. Okay, so you can see that I've got the heating pads here, and two of the wires coming from each, or one of the wires coming from each, so there's one from this one and one from this one. You can see that I've soldered and taped it onto this little connector here that's going to go on the back of my switch, right like that, clip on like that. Now for the other two wires that are coming off there, these are supposed to be grounded, and so I'm just going to go ahead and solder these together and then ground them to the frame of the bike later. So I've noticed something about soldering. I've got this thing, and these wires are going to dangle around whenever I touch them, right? And so something that makes it a little easier is if you just put a little bit of tape on it like that, or something, you know, just to weigh it down. And then you take this, and here we go again. This is my, I believe, third time soldering ever. And I'm just going to kind of run this bead around the whole thing. I wonder if breathing this stuff is bad. Most likely, yes. Okay. So, that's soldering my third time ever. Give me a comment about it. Okay, one more time for the sake of total clarity. This is what the whole thing looks like when it's laid out. So we're going to start with the bullet that will go into the KLR City Lights Accessory positive one, which is brown and white. That comes down here, it splits. This resistor will go to the top one that's related to the high switch, and coming off of the low switch, that just comes back to here. This middle switch is going to come down and split. One's going to come from the right heater, one's going to come from the left heater, and then the other wire that comes from the left and the right heater is going to come down here, and I've soldered that together. That's going to be our ground. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so I believe in testing stuff. Before I go drilling off these ghetto foam things and put on my new grips and install the grip heaters, I'm going to check and see if they work before I do all that stuff, just to see if they get warm. So I've got my positive cable going into the positive spot, and my ground cables, the cable that I had connected right in here, I've got my ground cable. I soldered on a bullet onto that and stuck that into my negative. And, I mean, you're not going to be able to see it, but when I turn on the key and then I turn on my grip heaters, it is almost instantaneous heat. Let's see. Waiting. Waiting.